Good evening. We have two meetings tonight. The first is a meeting of the Cunningham Township Board. It's Tuesday, September 4th, 2018. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustees Ammons.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Hazen.
Here.
Jacobson.
Here.
Miller. Roberts. Wu.
Here.
Marlin.
Here.
And Wayne Williams is attending electronically.
Wayne Williams is attending electronically. Great. Minutes of the previous meeting, August 6, 2018. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll motion to approve it. Second.
Moved by Dean, seconded by Aaron. Any corrections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Any additions to the agenda? Okay. Does anyone wish to address the Cunningham Town Board? Okay. Next up is Committee to Verify Bills. Danielle?
You have the summary and the detail before you. It's posted to the website. It hasn't changed. Excuse me. We're looking at $43,134.76 in expenditures from the town fund and $54,130.75 in expenditures from the general assistance fund. The total expended between last town board meeting and this one is $97,265.51. Does anyone have any questions about the expenditures? Go ahead, Eric.
Eric?
So the thing that I always wonder when I look at these is I try to extrapolate or project out to the end of the year and say, oh, are we on the way to incurring a deficit or a surplus, or are we just about on track? And so my question is, how much additional difficulty would it be to add to the, the software that prints these out, that kind of projection?
Here's my recommendation, and this is what Carol Elliott used to do, is that she would give quarterly financial reports, which were profit loss statements. So 4 times a year, you would basically see for that quarter, are we on track? I think I would recommend that over doing that each meeting because, for example, we just dispersed a number of social service grants last month. This month, there's kind of an uneven flow, but if you look quarterly, you can begin to see like how far are you to, to 25% after the first quarter. And I can answer questions about how some things might be one-time payments. So if you'd like to return to that, I certainly can do it. I think I did a mid-year report, financial report for you. But I had been talking with Carol recently just to understand what kind of reporting she used to do, and she explained that it was quarterly. So if that's something the town board would like, I think it would be useful for us to look at, profit loss over a quarter-to-quarter basis.
Yeah, I think that would be great to have a bit of a solvency check.
Okay, so essentially, July, August, September. So I would say at the October meeting I could do one, and then January and April.
Terrific.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay. Is there a, well, we don't approve that. Reports of officers.
We need a motion to approve.
Oh. Motion to approve the bills.
I move to approve the bills.
Second. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Reports of officers.
So I have a quick report for today and just a question. Charlie, do you have the town bills document that the town board members and myself sign?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you just want to send it this way, we can get it signed. So this is the first month since I started that the general assistance participant rolls has gone down. So essentially, as you might recall, with my predecessor when she came on, there were 175 general assistance participants the month before she took office, and she cut that down to 26 participants. and I had explained to you in the last budget what some of the methods were, some of which were not legal and certainly unethical. So what we've been doing is building up the roles, and the question I've had is, at what point does it kind of stabilize, or will it, go through the roof, so to speak? So I expected that at around 125 or so, which is what we budgeted for, it would begin to stabilize. So we are at, thank you, we were at 127 last month. We are now down to 114. Many of our participants are homeless, and we are getting homeless verification, usually from the Phoenix Center or Daily Bread Soup Kitchen for that. The average age is 48, and what we've done is, in this last month, we've worked hard. We've always had community workfare and SSI tracks, but we've launched a new track called the Job Search Track. And so I had mentioned this to you that it was on deck, but our advocate, Martell Miller, runs the job track. Our advocate, Elizabeth Percioni, runs the SSI track. And then essentially, our case manager, Kyle Patterson, runs our homeless assistance program and does all the intakes for both programs. So essentially what we've done is we've assigned 20 folks to community workfare. What that means is that they either work in the garden, at Salt and Light, at Habitat for Humanity, Healthcare Consumers, or Eastern Illinois Food Bank, and we're looking to add a couple more Urbana locations. 39 are assigned to the job search track, and essentially what that means is that they have to go to WorkNet each week and participate in job search activities, and they have to drop off the places where they've applied for work to our office on a regular basis, and so they have basically monthly contact. These are folks who are able-bodied, but many times due to criminal convictions or due to a gap in work experience, they're having a hard time getting, or temporary disability, they're having a hard time getting employment. So essentially, we're really working on developing more advocacy and support to help people secure employment. And so far, because it's fairly new, the job search track, I don't have stats in terms of success rates, but I hope to have that to you in future months. We've also did an entire audit of our SSI, SSDI cases, thanks to a series of interns I have, group of interns. And so we really looked at their cases, and the goal is to really understand who is disabled and is in this kind of, I would call it purgatory, between getting approved for disability payments and having had an injury. And so we're trying to, as I explained with the SOAR process, really fast track applications. I met with Senator Durbin's office a week ago and have now understand the process by which we get certain cases flagged for congressional review and ways in which we can flag cases that are really urgent, where someone is in what we experience to be a very either life or death situation, or a situation where they're very vulnerable because of their disability. And so Durbin's office has agreed to work with us to help move cases in addition to us using the SOAR process. So we're hoping that more people will get on SSI, and we'll see that decrease. That's the best thing for them because they'll get $750 instead of $265. We're also hoping that more folks will secure jobs, and we're working on a partnership with WorkNet. I think we'll probably come to you next month with a contract to become an official partner. You pay a certain amount each year, and you work much closely with the unemployment office. So we're hoping to kind of beef up that piece. The community work fair is really for folks where we're not sure somebody is work ready. So they're oftentimes coming out of homelessness, or they're able-bodied and homeless, and we kind of need to assess, can they show up on time to a place? Once that is assessed, then we can kind of move into a job search track. So essentially, we've been able to reduce the general assistance roles, partly by getting folks jobs. We've had some SSI cases go through this last month. We've had some terminations that came from folks not participating in the programs. And we have given everyone who is terminated an opportunity to get back on the rolls and some clarity around participation. So just wanted to let folks know that piece. Last month, we prevented homelessness through eviction for 4 Urbana households. That was the only homeless assistance we did in August. My other updates are quick. We're about to start an audit if the contract is approved tonight. We've migrated away from Consolidated Communications to i3 for internet and UMA for phone service. We've cut $200 per month off of our communications bill as a result. And we actually have more features and more flexibility. I am requesting, and you'll see tonight, actually I'll speak to that when we get to it. Our next garden party is going to be a self-care community repair wellness fair. I've had a number of folks who have come to me and said, you know, I'm a massage therapist. I'd love to provide, you know, chair massages. I'm a nutritionist. I'd love to help people at the township, you know, connect to nutrition information. So this, our September, we've tried to have an event every month, and this month will be specifically open to township participants and volunteers. So it'll be a smaller event, not so public. But I wanted folks to know that the Township Garden is still a successful tool to engage participants in wellness and health. We have harvested almost everything out of the first crop, and we have given away all of it. So the entire crop has either been picked or given away. We continue to tell folks, if you're hungry, come eat. You don't have to talk to us. You can just pick things from the garden. It's fine. We are asking the community to support emergency assistance for the homeless in Urbana by nominating Cunningham Township when you shop at Common Ground Food Co-op. So starting now to September 14th, I'd love to see board members also nominate us. Members can nominate up to 3 organizations to be on the ballot for their Roundup for Good program. And so we have an angel donor program. We've already had several churches pledge but not pay in, but hopefully in future town bills you will see payments into that fund. And I'm hoping that we can also be part of the food co-op program. Any questions?
Thank you, Danielle. Oh, Bill.
Yeah, could you remind me on the homeless people that are on general assistance? Obviously, we can't help all homeless people in the county, so did they have some connection to the township or Urbana before they became homeless? How do you decide?
So this is an issue of debate in our office because of the number of homeless participants. And so right now I'm doing an audit to see what's the last address. And if the last address is Champaign and they are on the SSI track, I've already started to refer folks to Champaign Township, and Andy knows that we've already started to refer. Most folks have a last known address of Urbana, or through our street outreach, which we do regularly, we're engaging with folks who are sleeping on the street in Urbana. By our rules, you have to be homeless 1 night in Urbana. That's the general assistance rules set by the township officials of Illinois. So anyone who actually is street homeless in Urbana, and it includes a lot of the folks we see around Lincoln Square and downtown, are essentially included. I have not seen anyone from where last known address is outside of Champaign-Urbana, with the exception of folks who may have come here and been abandoned by a spouse or a partner. We have a couple of situations where folks came from out of the state, and I believe they're all women. So we do work with Courage Connection, and anyone who is staying at the Main Street facility is an Urbana resident. And we do have a number of folks who are staying at the domestic violence shelter, and they qualify for general assistance in Urbana.
Any other questions? Okay. Unfinished business? Seeing none. New business. First up is Resolution T 2018-09-010R, which is the resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement with Clifton Allen Larson for audit services.
Yes, and just to explain, I cannot find record that, at least in the last 4 months, you've ever been asked to sign an agreement for audit services, but legal review says that we need to. That's why this is coming to you the week before the audit starts. Because once I got the contract and I looked it over last week, I said, boy, this looks a lot like a contract. I think the town board needs to sign off on it. Has it ever done it before? No, but, so, yes, you're supposed to sign this, and I certainly would have brought it to you earlier had it been regular practice in the office. Oh, yes, it's CLA, it's Clifton Larson Allen. So whoever moves approval, just indicate the correct name for the company.
Clifton Larson Allen. Bill, you had a question?
I'll move approval of resolution number T 2018-09010R, resolution authorizing supervisor to sign an agreement with Clifton Larson Allen for audit services.
Second.
Moved by Bill, seconded by Aaron. Any further discussion? Mary Alice?
I was just curious, is this on par, this amount, $7,500 for an audit? Is this what we've been paying for the past couple of years?
It is. I actually went back and looked at like 5 and 6 years ago, and it was closer to 6,500. That said, I think this is a good price for, and it's a good decision to stick with the existing auditor because there was a lack of continuity between administrations. And so essentially last year was a pretty intensive audit. And we had a couple of extra fees added because of the intensity. And this year, this is below what we paid last year when the audit was finished. And I do not expect the same level of investment from CLA as they had last year.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Is this roll call or voice? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Next up is Resolution T 2018-09011R.
Yeah, so this, essentially what this does is I'm requesting authorization to pay bills on time. Similar to the process at City of Champaign Township and also CU Public Health. What's that?
It's consolidated.
Just
You've skipped one.
Did I skip one? Wait, where am I?
social service providers.
Oh, never mind, hold on, let me go backwards. Okay, so in the past, social services has been voted on by the city council, and then it was confirmed at the town board level in the budget. And each social service agency was listed out as a different line item. In this year's budget, it was collapsed into one line item simply because we had lots of issues last year with line item transfers and the budget. Some people didn't use all their money. Some monies were expended and paid out in July, et cetera. So I simplified it for this year. That said, as a town board, you've not actually approved the list of groups and the amounts. You only did that as a city council. So when I went to, you also, and it's been, it was a concern of mine last year, you've never seen the contract, and you're supposed to authorize contracts. So I felt that the most appropriate approach is to give you the list as you approved with the amounts as you approved when you were wearing your city council hats with the contract, which you would then approve, and we can disperse those. So that essentially is a somewhat of a change in process that I think aligns more with the law. Any questions?
Yes. Bill?
Just one correction on the first page is comma, it's 12,000, comma 5000. I think that's supposed to be 12,500.
Correct.
So just drop a zero from that.
Actually, don't drop a zero, just change where the comma is located.
So it's 125,000?
It's, wait, hold on. Nope, I'm sorry, you're correct. It's 12,500, drop a zero.
Okay.
Yep.
And then on the reporting, there's no minimum level of reporting required. I guess that's a question. Is there any minimum level of reporting required? Is there at least an annual report required? It sounds like just as the grantee will provide to Township unreasonable notice, access to, and right to examine such books and records, and grantee will make such reports to Township as Township may reasonably require. It doesn't really say that you have to have at least one per year or anything like that. I'd like to see at least one per year, so that it's a matter of public record that they've reported.
You mean a written report?
Yeah,
Let me see.
that's on page 1, item 11.
There's a section, hold on, so number 5B is somewhat new from the past. What we require is an agency reporting form listing expenditures and attaching receipts. That we then added providing a narrative of impacts, and I can show you that form if you're interested, but essentially it is the description. There's going to only be 2 disbursements in most cases. Actually, in all cases, it's 2 disbursements. So there's a mid-year report and a final report, which is standard in the granting world. And so those reports we can make public. I could bring them back to the board, and you could see, you know, I'm going to be asking people to report on narrative impacts and quantitative impacts. It's also the case that then when they apply, they report on quantitative impacts at that time. But I can make the agency reporting form public. I certainly, you know, I would love it if, you know, there was more kind of eyes on the social service agencies, because I think it helps with accountability.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I didn't notice that one. I was looking at item 11. So item 11 is just additional reporting in case you wanted to.
That's financial reporting. So for example, if I want to, if I get a receipt and it's like some handwritten receipt attached to it, I'm like, okay, I would like to see the QuickBooks report or the, you know, financial software report. I can actually go to that agency at any time and request, like, show me this report. Like, did this really go to this person? Or I could say, you know, can you show me the canceled check that went to this employee or went to this vendor? Those are all things that I can request as a grantor to ensure that the funds are being expended properly.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Mary Alice?
So 175,000 comes out of Township, right? And the remainder comes out of city. So these contracts are, since Township is taking, is going to be the lead group administering these contracts, is that correct?
For the ones, if you go to the very last page, you'll actually see a little grid, and the grid shows the agency name, program, which ones Township is funding, and any conditions that you had requested in the contract as part of your motion, which is why I included your motion in the whereases.
Okay, so does that mean, Diane, does that mean for the city's component, because it's only 175,000, which is Township?
Correct. I actually pulled out the 75,000 because you have no jurisdiction as town board.
Right, that's what I was trying to figure out.
But I'm happy to send you the chart that shows you who was funded by whom, that Kelly, the staff member, put together, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, is there a motion? Bill?
I'll move to move approval of resolution number T 2018-09011R, resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign agreements with social service providers for grants dispersed through the consolidated social service funds for FY 2019.
Is there a
Second.
Moved by Bill, seconded by Eric. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Next up is resolution number T 2018-09-012R.
Okay, this is the one that jumped the gun on. So I'm requesting authorization to pay bills on time. This is a process that's similar to the City of Champaign Township and CU Public Health. It's also a process authorized by some fairly recent changes in Township Code, which you can see in the whereases, where the Township Code is quoted. I just want to give an example. Okay, so every month we pay bills late. I've just gotten used to it. I brought it up with Charlie a number of times, and Fred. It bothers me. I don't pay bills late. But I'm required to pay bills late because oftentimes it's due 2 to 3 weeks from when the bill is received, and I have to wait for the town board. So we have late fees. They're small, but they're there, and I don't think the public should pay for them. So this month, if you were either last month or this month coming up, if this is not approved, I'll have late bills for the News Gazette and Quill, which you actually see on the town board, bills, and I-3 and our credit card. That's just the example of some of the things that end up being late. So essentially, my understanding is how this works is that I will provide you the town bills. I will also, what is typically done, we haven't used the credit card, but this last month, I haven't had a statement yet. I will also bring the credit card statement so that you can see that. They will be wrapped into the town bills, but you'll see what was paid out by credit card. You can ask any questions that you want. And then if for some reason there's an unauthorized payment, then we need to deal with that the same way that other public bodies deal with it. So this basically provides the ability for me to pay the bills as they come in.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I move approval of this resolution number T 2018-09-012R, resolution authorizing review and approval of township bills at the next township board meeting after payment.
I'll second.
Moved by Eric, seconded by Bill. Is there further discussion? Yes.
So I'm curious, you had just alluded to the fact that if there's a discrepancy in the bills, that it would be dealt with just like any other body. Can you describe that process further?
Fred, what happens at CU Public Health if for some reason the board contests an expenditure that has been made already?
To my knowledge, the only unit of government in the state of Illinois that has the requirement that bills be approved before they're paid are townships. The legislature should have simply done away with that. They did make a big improvement by providing that each township could do away with that. Bills are paid in the ordinary course of business, and then you look at the bills as they're presented to you once a month whenever your meeting is, and you are in the same position that you would be with a city, which is never burdened with this strange requirement to do whatever you think needs to be done. So if you determine that some bills should not be paid or should not have been paid, you can address that. I'm not aware of that ever having happened with a township bill in the time that I've been involved in this. But anyone dealing with the unit of government has the burden of making sure for themselves that what they're doing, requesting, getting paid is correct. And the township board, as the city council, can treat any item that it disputes in the ordinary manner that anyone would treat any such item.
There's just two pieces. You authorize all contracts, so payments have to line up with contracts. And second, in the resolution, you will see that it's limited to what's in the budget. So when you authorize the budget, you're essentially constraining. So I can't make payments outside either contracts or budget.
That's correct. If there was something unusual, something not in the budget, where there's going to be perhaps a budget amendment requested, those still have to come before you before they're paid. This is for the routine kinds of expenditures that you've approved with the budget.
Okay, I guess my curiosity in addition to that was how we've been paying people. I mean, there's payments here to health insurance and people's payroll and so forth.
It's
So
been
how does-
awkward many times.
Well, with payroll, there
There are some exceptions to the rule of requiring payment in advance. One is payroll, because there is a statute that requires that payroll be made on time. So that is accepted from it. General assistance payments are accepted from it. Those are the main, there are a few categories. Those are the two primary ones that were already accepted from this requirement.
Yeah, so you've seen payments made without prior authorization in those two categories, which I did by law. It's the other things that we're talking about.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor, please, did we vote on that? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Next up, we'll be looking for a motion to go into closed session, the purpose of which is to review closed meeting minutes pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C21. Is there a motion?
I move we go into closed session to review minutes of closed meetings.
Second.
Moved by Eric, seconded by Mary Alice. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustees Ammons.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hazen,
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
And Wu.
Yes.
That motion passes. So we will meet upstairs.
Well, and actually, we're meeting in my office. Upstairs has another meeting.
Ah,
So we're just going to,
Okay, we need a motion to go back into open session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Aaron, seconded by Mary Alice. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Can we have a vote?
I was going to
Aye.
vote aye.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was a roll call or a voice.
Is that a voice? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we're back in open session. Then we may need a resolution, number T 2018-09-013R, which would be a resolution regarding the release of closed session minutes for the period ending August 31st, 2018.
I will move resolution number T 2018-09013R, resolution regarding the release of closed session minutes for the period ending in August 31st, 2018, for approval.
I will second that.
Moved by Mary Alice, seconded by Dean. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion passes. Wayne Williams is here. Did you have a report tonight, Wayne? Okay. So, no report tonight? Okay. No further business before this town board. This meeting is adjourned.